Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you to the City of Boston for inviting me here today. As a proud Bostonian and a resident of the West End, I am thrilled to be here today representing my organization, the National Digital Inclusion Alliance, or NDIA, and recognizing the City of Boston as an NDIA Digital Inclusion Trailblazer. NDIA advances digital equity by supporting community programs and equipping policymakers to act. We develop resources, data, research. We support coalitions, digital inclusion coalitions. We are also supporting digital navigator programs. We provide a lot of resources for communities to advance their digital equity missions. We build community by providing spaces and opportunities for our affiliates, almost 2,000 affiliates representing every state across the country, to come together, to educate, to learn, to be in fellowship, and have fun. Some of these opportunities include our community calls. We have community calls, working groups, cohorts, a robust listserv. If you're a part of it, you know there was a really robust conversation yesterday, and then our annual conference, Net Inclusion. We share what we learn with policymakers too. So on the policy side, we take what we learn from our community and we share what the community members, what the needs of their communities are, the community members they serve. A result of our work includes, with policymakers, includes a monumental commitment to addressing the digital divide across urban, rural, and tribal communities with resources in IIJA federal legislation. We have 60 affiliates across the Commonwealth and 16 in the City of Boston. These affiliates are integral to the work of the digital inclusion movement, ensuring that people have the opportunity to participate in the digital world in the ways that are most meaningful to them. Our Massachusetts affiliates include the City of Boston, Computers for People, so Dylan and his team, Tech Goes Home, Essex County Community Foundation, Massachusetts Law Reform Institute, MAPC, or the Metropolitan Area Planning Council, Mass Hire, FinFin, Boston Housing Authority, Mass General Hospital Brigham, Make It Haverhill, Barnstable Public Schools, the Office of Workforce Development, City of Cambridge, City of Somerville, Massachusetts Broadband Institute, or MBI, Pioneer Valley Planning Commission, West Tisbury Public Library, Worcester Community Cable Access TV. That's just to name a few. I'm not going to name them all. I'm sorry. Okay. I would have named them all, but I expected to get looks from Santi, Carey, and Peter at some point, so I just stopped there. NDIA recognizes the decades of work that local governments, including the City of Boston, have committed to ensuring that households and families have affordable internet connectivity options to access affordable computers, and opportunities to advance digital skills. Of note is Boston's support through their Digital Equity Fund, with awards for digital navigation work, improvements to telehealth programming, and device refurbishments. Some of the many reasons that NDIA is happy, and I'm extremely proud to celebrate the City of Boston's designation as a Digital Inclusion Trailblazer community. NDIA's Digital Inclusion Trailblazers program recognizes local governments that are paving the way and providing excellent models for digitally inclusive communities. The communities we select as trailblazers provide models to aspire to, demonstrating how local government can support their own digital inclusion and ecosystems. This year, Boston has been named a Visionary Digital Inclusion Trailblazer. That is the highest tier of recognition. Signaling the, you can all clap. Signaling the city's leadership even among this year's class of 60 Trailblazer communities across the country. I should also note that this is the 9th year of the Trailblazers program, and Boston is only one of 5 communities across the country that to become a Trailblazer every year since inception. Woo! Congratulations to the City of Boston. Digital equity is about more than pipes and wires. It's about ensuring our community members, especially the most vulnerable, can connect to their telehealth appointments, are skilled for the workforce of today and the future, can access social supports, including housing solutions during these cold winter months, have the resources for economic mobility and advancement, and can experience other life-changing opportunities. Thank you, and I'd like to offer the City of Boston. Awesome. Santi and his team, a big, huge congratulations on all their hard work in your 9th year as a Trailblazer.
Thank you again to Gina. I'm Santi Garces. I'm the Chief Information Officer for the city. And look, this award and the recognition is really not mine, is of the team of Peter, Brian, Viola, and our partners within the administration of H-Strong, of Moya, of Worker Empowerment. We know that when we put together an event like this, it shows that the relationships that we build to work on really important things, you can't make them up last minute. We have partnerships with people from industry. We have partnerships with across the different cabinets and departments that work under Mayor Wu's leadership. We're working with community organizations, both local and national, that help us drive really important work. And I think that, this is stuff that matters, and it's connecting people with digital resources, something that I think that we could all agree is really important. Whether it's to ensure that someone has access to the health results or the labs to be able to schedule appointments, whether you are trying to connect with educational resources, you're trying to learn a new skill, or you're trying to apply for a job, or you're trying to talk to your family that might be far away. All of these things are essential. They keep people together, they make them better off, and we know that there are gaps that people in the community are experiencing to be able to access those resources. And we've come a long way, and because of the partnerships and the relationships that we've had, we've been able to make sure that Boston's a leader, but we know that there's still work that needs to be done, and there are things that we need to do to make sure that everybody, regardless of where they live, whether they live in public housing, in subsidized housing, regardless of the color of their skin, where they come from, that they all are able to access the resources that they need so that they can be better off. And we're all better off when they're better off. So just many, many thanks to all of you for the work, and I think that it is exciting to be recognized because we've been working on this for a long time, and we'll keep working on it together. I will just say a quick few words and then pass it over to our colleagues from the City Council. We're delighted to have partners here from Crown Castle and from NECTA, but being able to share some great contributions that Crown Castle is making to community organizations, to our partners at Computers for, I just don't want to get the name wrong, Computers for People, Dylan's organization. And again, we've known Dylan for a long time and we've been supporting his work, but being able to connect folks with connectivity devices so that they can be able to do the things that they need to do, to whether it's, again, like connecting with their family members, with economic opportunity. It's amazing. So we're very grateful for the work that they're doing. I'll turn it over to Cisnel. Thank you. And so thank you so much from Council President Ruthie Louis-Jen's office. So thank you so much for being here, and it's great to share the stage once again with you. Thank you. Cheers.
Short people problems. Good afternoon. Ooh.
Sorry.
You're stealing my comment.
Oh, no.
Good afternoon, everybody. How is everyone doing today? Woo! Woo! I'm excited. I hope you're excited. I feel like this is just such a joyous event. My name is Cisnel Baez. I work for the Office of President Ruthie Louis-Jen, Council President, and I am her Director of External Affairs. And I would like to share with her words. With Black History Month days away, I'm reflecting of the words of civil rights activist John Lewis, who recognized that the fight for equity continues in new forms, right? We can all agree that. I quote him by saying, "Access to the internet is a civil rights issue of the 21st century." And I think we can all agree on that today. In reality, 3 times as many people in our cities lack reliable internet access, and this gap disproportionately increases. And and it affects Blacks, Hispanic communities, and lower income households. Across the city, across the nation, it is an issue that continues to be in our daily lives. So today we honor this new initiative and we look forward to the future. So let's work together to ensure everybody has access to internet, Wi-Fi, and digital skills. The digital tools they need to fully participate in today's world are there. All we have to do is engage and connect them. Thank you guys so much for doing the work. And it's not just about technology, it's about equity and opportunity. We should be using these resources at our disposal to ensure this is possible, and we are grateful to the administration, to Chief Garzas, Carrie, Dewitt's dedication, and Peter and the rest of all these lovely organizations here today for doing the work, because you guys are moving the needle forward and you're gonna continue to do so much for the city. And on the side, I wanna note that my thesis was on digital equity 2 years ago, and I am very proud to say that I teared up knowing that the city of Boston was one of the nation's leading cities across, you know, so many places that the city, yeah, I said the nation. But I was very proud, and I kept running around showing the report to everybody. So anyway, I graduated, right? So the report was good. But thank you, Boston. Thank you, Boston. And I'm gonna pass it on to Council Pippin's staff. Thank you.
All right. Tall people problems. All good. All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Chief Gracias. Thank you, Sisnell. Thank you, Dewitt, who actually does it. And Computers for People, Crown Castle, Mission Telecom, and other friends, the National Digital Inclusion Alliance, and other friends here today. My name is Diana Bronchek, and I serve as Chief of Staff for District 5 City Councilor Enrique Pepin. And Councilor Pepin is the proud chair of the City Services and Innovation Technology Committee. And he boasts to be the most tech-savvy councilor, but sometimes I don't really believe that. I thought I would get more laughs from that. Okay, thank you. Regardless, he is so excited to bring this order to the vote later on today at the council meeting currently going on, because it just makes sense, right? It makes sense to recycle stuff that is no longer usable for its current process. It makes sense to give stuff to people who can repurpose it for another use, especially organizations like C4P that has specialized in sanitation and refurbishing technology. And it makes sense to share that stuff to those who would not be able to get any other version of it. In today's world where technology continues to grow around us, becoming a utility of our everyday lives, we are proud to be part of the city's and pretty much, I'm sure, everyone in this room's goal of closing the digital divide. The saying may go something like one man's trash is another man's treasure, but this process is more like one worker's aging laptop that gives them much stress is one Bostonian's access to new opportunities. So thank you all for your work in expanding technology and equity and access for all. And thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. I think that now we're going with Dylan Zajac from Computers for People.
Fix the computer. Works for me.
So you don't have a beautiful...
Yeah, I want our flyer that design up there. Looks great.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, there we go. All set?
All set.
Yeah. Thanks, Peter. Peter's the best.
It's in my name. My last name's Favorito.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for having me here today. My name's Dylan Zajac. I'm the founder and executive director of Computers for People. And it's so cool to be here right now. About 6 years ago, actually, like exactly 6 years ago, I started this organization in my bedroom in Hoboken, New Jersey, after finding out that so many companies and individuals don't know what to do with their old computers. And because of that, most of them, 88% to be exact, end up in the landfill getting burned and leaking toxic chemicals into the water, soil, and air, which is just terrible. and there has to be a better way. So after learning that fact and talking to a lot of people in my community, and including nonprofit organizations, I found out that so many people across the US and around the world don't have access to computers and don't have access to technology and need it for education, job search, telehealth, federal benefits, and so much more. It is necessary to have this access today. And that's why I started Computers for People. I started by just going to people on Facebook Marketplace and telling them, hey, why don't you donate your computers instead of throwing them in the trash or selling them? And people really related with the mission, and they wanted to support our work. And because of that, they've donated computers, and we've gotten all the way to the point now where we have Fortune 500s and Fortune 100s donating computers to our organization because they want to be part of this mission. And about 3 or 4 years ago, I actually sent Santi an email. I was a freshman in college, and I started Computers for People in New York City, and we expanded throughout New Jersey and New York City. But when I came to Babson College up here in Massachusetts, I was like, what's going on here in Massachusetts? And maybe how can we expand our mission? How can we help? And Santi started telling me about the great work of the city of Boston and all the work that was going on here in the state. And I also saw some areas that I think could have been improved, and some reasons why Computers for People could help the city of Boston, Bostonians, and people across the state of Massachusetts. And that's when I started talking to different organizations. I think I talked to a few dozen different nonprofits that lacked access, their clients lacked access. And because of that, we started an organization, or started moving our organization up to Boston as well. And I just want to say thank you to the city of Boston for giving us a grant recently for $50,000 to expand our work here. So thank you. Because of that, we're donating 300 computers across the city of Boston, working with a bunch of great organizations. One's here today, the United Way. We're also working with VinFen, some great organizations that are helping us push this work out to the communities and know their communities the best, and are able to help us connect with individuals in the community. So I want to thank all those organizations that are here today and have helped us bring our work to the communities. It's also so awesome that the city of Boston connected us to the great people at Crown Castle. Thank you, Meg, for just inviting us in and working with us and collaborating. Because of Crown Castle, we're donating 75 mobile hotspots with a year of internet in collaboration with Mission Telecom. So thank you for making that possible. If you just have a device and you don't have internet, then what's good? Like, what is a device good for? So it is so important that we do both of these things, and then also provide the skills needed to use these devices, because a lot of people are getting them for the first time. So I want to thank everyone for coming today, and I'm going to pass it off to Mission Telecom, who's a great partner of ours. So thank you.
Thank you, Dylan, and thanks everybody for having me. I'm really excited to be here. It's great to be a partner with C4P. They have a great, passionate mission, and we all know that it's important to work on a journey to close the digital divide. We're doing that with C4P. We do that with schools. We do libraries. We're their connectivity partner, and we are committed to continuing this journey. And we're humbled to be here. Thank you for having us, and we look forward to doing more. Appreciate it.
Awesome. I think that we're going to hear from Viola, one of our very own and brilliant collaborators, to share a little bit of the story of the impact that this work has on people and on residents. So, Viola, go for it.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Viola. I'm a digital navigator with the City of Boston. And I'm here just to share a few stories of the people that I've helped through my work. As a digital navigator, I often offer one-on-one tech session to people who need them. And I must say that those techniques, the techniques that I address, they are related to broader struggles, really. And I see my role really as ensuring that technology empowers people to overcome these obstacles. So the individuals that I work with, they are hopeful, they are determined, and despite having the odds against them, they are really refusing to give up, and they are always coming for help and trying to make a better life. So I have gathered 3 testimonials from them, and I want to thank Computer for People, the Computer for People team, for the incredible work that they are doing. They are very grateful. I need to tell you that last December, Computer for People delivered like 7 computers to us, to people who needed them, and it wasn't a snowstorm. So I really appreciated your dedication, your devotion to the mission that you have. So thank you so much. So I'm just going to be sharing the thank you that they are sending to you too as a result. So the first testimonial that I'm going to be reading is from Odomoni. He's an Haitian immigrant. He's been in the US for a while, and he has a son and a wife. So his testimonial read something like, I'm Odomoni, and I'm grateful to be a beneficiary of the Computer for People program. When I first came to Boston, I was struggling to find opportunities to support my family. I was determined to improve my life, so I started taking college classes. However, I didn't have a computer, which made it difficult to keep up with my studies and help my son with his schoolwork as well. Receiving a computer from Computer for People has been extremely helpful. My son can now access educational programs at home. The laptop has also opened doors for me to continue my education online and to pursue better job opportunities. I'm incredibly thankful for the support of Computer for People. Their generosity has made a significant impact on my family's life, and I encourage them to continue their mission of helping others in need. So that was from Odor. The next one is from Wood. She's a young woman that I've actually met at the Boston Public Library. She comes, at the Boston Public Library, you can use the public computers only for 2 hours. So I've had to help her multiple times, and she would come all the time to look for jobs. And she's pretty savvy, but she doesn't have a computer at home, and there is the time limit to it. So she's saying that my name is Wood, and I recently relocated to Boston, seeking a fresh start and new opportunities. As a newcomer, I faced various challenges, but the lack of access to a computer has been a significant hurdle. I'm grateful to the Boston Public Library for offering resources and support, including the upcoming computer classes. However, having a personal laptop greatly improved my learning experience and made me more confident in my job search. With a laptop, I am continuously improving my computer skills, searching for jobs at my convenience, and continuing my education online. I'm eager to learn, work hard, and make the most of every opportunity. I want to assure that your help is precious and has done me a lot of good. So that's word to you. And then the last one is from a lovely elderly woman who barely leaves her apartment. And she's very curious. She is really great. And she said not having a computer was a significant barrier for me. Daily tasks such as managing medical appointments and conducting research were difficult to do on my phone. Since receiving a computer, I have been able to easily research topics and find answers to my questions. Have not experienced any issues using the computer and accessing online services, and I'm content with the current setting. So she's not changing anything to it, so she's using it as is. And she said, I'm incredibly grateful for the computer and the generosity of the donors who made this program possible. With it, I can stay informed and stay connected to local, national, and global events. So those are the 3 testimonials that I wanted to share with you, just to really show the impact of the work that you are doing. It might seem small, but to them, it means the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I also just want to give a shout out to the C4P team that's here today. We have Barbara over there. Everyone's in green. So Barbara, we have Arnold, and we have Elmedi. They were the ones driving through the snowstorms to deliver computers, and they work so hard every day to make this program possible. So if you happen to have a chance to talk to them afterwards, please do. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Dylan. Thanks, Viola. So lastly, we want to welcome Tim Wilkerson from the New England Connectivity and Telecommunications Association to share as well some remarks. Tim, thank you again for being here.
Of course. Good afternoon. I want to say what a special event this is. And I really can't overstate what we're honoring today and what we're celebrating. And the public-private partnerships that brought us together are really unique. And if you think about where we were before the pandemic and where we've come to today, and the focus and the effort that we're putting on collectively, the shoulder that we're putting into this effort of digital equity is really remarkable. And I would argue that there's no other industry in the private sector, and there's no other public policy issue that has seen such a marshaling of forces that come together to try to solve a challenge that is colorblind, it's gender blind, it's age blind, it's rural, it's urban blind. And today, to celebrate this designation for the mayor, for the council, for this gentleman and his team to be visionaries, once again, to be a leader on the municipal level with private partners, with the state as a partner, is just something that's really remarkable, and you deserve another round of applause. I can remember several years ago, I was reading an op-ed in the San Antonio Express, and I'm reading it, and every single thing that's being said, I'm like, I agree with that, I agree with that, I agree with that, I agree with that. I'm like, who is this organization? NDIA. And ever since then, our paths have crossed as an organization, as NECTA, as our members, which I'll mention in a moment, and the work that you and your colleagues are doing across the nation are to be applauded, and just know that in our little corner of the world, we support you and the work that you're doing. You're a vital voice, and for you to give this, to once again designate this city with such an honor is great, so thank you. Now, I don't know why we haven't mentioned it, or someone hasn't mentioned it, but for Dylan Zajac to be honored by Forbes magazine as a 30 under 30 leader, Forbes magazine, to identify Dylan personally and his organization as that type of leader that is really changing the world is phenomenal. We were so fortunate to have Dylan speak at our convention, our annual convention, last November, and then the announcement came right after that, and I thought to myself, we had Cedric Maxwell from the Celtics, right? NBA Finals MVP, but we had Dylan Zajac. I mean, come on, I mean, this guy. So the future's bright, and we're really lucky to be working with you. And also to all of our partners, to Mission Telecom, thank you for doing that, making the investment that you've made. But I'll tell you, no matter what industry you look at, for 8 years I've worked in the telecom industry, and I've represented Comcast, Charter, Cox Communications, Breezeline, who's headquartered here, and Comcast. I think I said that, sorry. But also companies like Crown Castle, who are literally working every single day to build out that infrastructure to connect us. Time and time again today, we've heard about connecting and being connected. And if it wasn't for companies like Crown Castle, they're doing the work, that are hiring the people that live in these communities, and to build the infrastructure that we rely on and we take for granted. Our broadband, our wireless, our ability to pick up this or to get on a laptop or to get on those hotspots and be able to get the information that we need to get a job in the 21st century or to participate in the education system in the 21st century is because of companies like Crown Castle. I want to say thank you to Meg and so many Crown Castle employees who are here today. And that's the thing that I'm really proud about. It was nearly 20 years ago that Comcast made a decision that they were going to lower low-cost broadband plans and made that decision unilaterally. There was no pressure from anyone to say, we're going to offer to anybody. Now, anybody who is on federal assistance can get high-speed broadband for $9.99. They did that 20 years ago. What other industry made that kind of commitment to invest in people, particularly people who are stuck in cycles of poverty? We are working together today, and we're celebrating all of our collective work to end those cycles of poverty, to get people connected to the internet, to get them stayed connected through Wi-Fi hotspots, to get them trained through digital equity skills, and to end those cycles of poverty, and to be fully participating in our economy and building the American dream. That's what we're all about. Thank you very much. One more thing I want to say. I know they're not here today, but the Associated Industries of Massachusetts and the New England Council are both leading associations, both in Massachusetts and regionally, and they're both very invested in the work that Crown Castle has done, and they're celebrating this today through a press release. And unfortunately, they weren't able to come, but I want to say to be on their radar at that level, both at the state level and regionally, is something else to be lauded. So, thank you.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you for taking time and being here. Again, we're all reminded that being connected enables acts of hopes. I think like listening to what we can do when we can come together and then work to solve really complicated issues. And I think that that's the vision that Mayor Wu sets for us every day. Let's work on important stuff and let's work on it together and build community. So without further ado, I think that there's no further ado. Peter, confirm. Are we done? Good. So truly without further ado, go and talk to each other. Let's stay connected. Let's try to figure out what's the next thing that we're going to celebrate in a year. Right? Cheers.